YouTube, how's it going? This is me, G-Bear. This time we're going to be battling against Alpha. This match was actually pretty close. The ending was kind of a tug of war. Uh, as you guys can see, his team is a little under tiered, I guess, compared to mine. Uh, but it is a lot of hacks on my side, which I'll say that now. So, um, none that were uh, too bad, I guess. But I don't know. You guys can be the judge of that. So anyway, I lead off with the Darmanitan. He leads off with the Rhyperior. Now, I knew I stood no chance. I didn't think that Superpower would take it out. So I just went ahead and U-turned out of there, expecting him to go for the Earthquake. He is Rocky Helmet, what kind of sucked, but it wasn't too bad. I just swap into Electros, like I said, expecting him to go for the Earthquake, which he does. Um, Now at this point, I go for the Giga Drain. I'm not sure if he knew I had it or not, or if he was expecting me to have it or not. But he ends up swapping out and going into Pork Chop, the Embor. I go ahead and go for the Thunderbolt, and that's when I got my first crit. For that to be a crit, it really didn't do much. I actually don't like this Electros. I need to make another one. I don't know. I'm thinking about making a modest nature one. Anyway, he goes for the flame charge and gets the +1 in speed, uh, which was a pretty good idea. Anyway, he goes for the flare blitz, and I really didn't think he would take out the Darmanitan with the flare blitz. That was just crazy damage. That's just super strong, and boy, it must be adamant nature or something like that. Anyway, so at this point, I just decided to go in for Muck, go for the Shadow Sneak. Knew he wouldn't survive it, and crazy thing, I get another crit, but honestly, that one, I really don't think mattered. I'm max attack. Anyway, so he goes into his Darner, I think it's Darner, what's this thing? Yanmega. It goes for the Hypnosis. I really wasn't expecting that. Um, I don't know. I just don't have much experience with oh, goodness. I don't have much experience with the Yanmega at all. He goes for the Air Slash. I do have quite a bit of special defense. No, I'm sorry. This is not that Muck. This is actually the Assault Vest Muck. Just go ahead and go for the Ice Punch, and I get a crit. Now, that crit did matter a bit. I still think that I would have taken it out before he took me out, judging by how much damage the Air Slash did. But it still did matter because, he would have put me to sleep and got more damage off. Anyway, so he goes into his Rhyperior. I just go ahead and go for the Power Up Punch. And because I was pretty confident that he would expect me to switch out, so he wouldn't go for the Earthquake, which he doesn't. Anyway, I go for the Ice Punch. I knew it wouldn't take it out, but I just wanted as much damage as I could on this guy. So he goes for the Earthquake and just takes me out. Of course, I wouldn't live that, even though this is actually my more defensive Muck. Vanessa actually has my special defensive Muck. Anyway, so I go back into Electros, and I was actually very tempted to go for the Flamethrower here, expecting him to go into this guy, but I, would rather be safe than sorry. I get the Giga Drain off, and of course I'm not going to get much HP back, but now I actually decided to go for the Flamethrower, and I was pretty surprised that I outsped. I am timid nature, but this Electros just is not that fast to me. He goes for the Petal Blizzard, and once again I was surprised that I actually survived that. I did not expect him to have a Sucker Punch though, and I lose my Electros, but he did a decent job, I guess. Anyway, so I just go ahead and go into Ambipom. I knew he would go for the Sucker Punch. I don't have Fake Out on this Ambipom, so I'm going to make one with Fake Out. But I just decided to go for the Power Up Punch just to get the +1. Because, why not? He's pretty much dead. Anyway, he had more Rocky Helmet damage, which I wasn't actually expecting. He did tell me he had double item, but I didn't expect that one. So I just decided to go for another power-up punch here because I knew that it wasn't much he can do for me except for Toxic. Because I've battled his Fortress quite a few times, so I know you know, unless you switched it up, I know pretty much most of the moves it has. So now that I'm +2, I know I can't do too much to it, but I can do a nice amount of damage to it. I just decided to go for the aerial ace, and it does quite a bit, I guess, for you know an aerial ace. But yeah, so that's pretty much the best thing I can do because I have aerial ace, power punch, seed bomb, and double hit. So aerial ace was definitely my best bet, and it definitely was going to be a 3-hit KO. He goes for the rapid spin. I'm not sure why he went for the rapid spin. Maybe that was his only move. I don't know. I know he had volt switch, but maybe he didn't want to switch anyone in on the aerial ace. So it looks like we're both going to be taken out here. He's going to go down to this last aerial ace. And of course that toxic damage is just going to finish off my Ember Palm. Which this is one of the more, because I have made a few Pokemon since I've been gone. So I haven't just been doing nothing at all. But yeah, that was one of the more Pokemon I was looking forward to using. So I go back into Cheers. He goes into the Rhyperior because his Rhyperior has Quick Claw. So he's pretty much just testing his luck. I go ahead and go for the Giga Drain, and down goes the Rhyperior. But definitely, if he would have got that Quick Claw, I would have lost my Cheers and definitely would have lost the game because Cheers is very crucial in this part, and you'll see why. So he brings out his Mega Ampharos. Now I know this thing has swept half my team before, so I know the power of his Mega Ampharos. He's gonna go for the agility. I go for the sleep powder and miss. I wasn't too nervous because I knew I can take at least one Thunderbolt from this guy. Now, if he had Thunder, I would have been screwed, but he went for the Thunderbolt. I know I can take at least one. Barely, but definitely could have taken one. And I land this second Sleep Powder. Now, the reason I had to do this is because my last Pokemon is actually Salamence, and it's not fast enough to, because it is timid nature, but I didn't fully invested in speed. So I have to get this guy, he's +2 right now. I have to get him down 2 in order to ensure my victory, if you may. So I get one Cotton Spore off. Luckily he's still asleep, and I go ahead and land the second one as well. And he still stays asleep, which is awesome because now I can set up my lead seed and get a little bit, you know, I guess I could have went for Giga Drain, but you know, I'd rather have the leech seed on him. Just because I wasn't fully confident that Dragon Claw can fully take out the Ampharos. And I was pretty confident he would want the agility boost instead of taking out my Cheers. But since he's just back to neutral right now, I know that my Cheers is still faster. So I wasn't worried about him taking me out with the Thunderbolt before I can lower his speed again with the next Cotton Spore. There we go. I almost called it Cotton Guard. But yeah, so I knew that I can lower his speed before he got annoyed, I guess, and decided to just take me out. Because he saw there was no way he could get his speed back up with me there. I was going to make sure that stayed at -2. Anyway, so now I can go into my Salamence, and since he is -2, I can definitely take this guy out with a Dragon Claw, thanks to the Leech Seed. I'm not sure if I could have with full health, because I know these guys can be bulky, but yeah. So anyway, down goes the Mega Ampharos, and I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Like I always say, if you want to battle me, just message me on my comments or message me through Facebook. I do have a Twitter that I never really get on, but if you ever message me anywhere, I'll always reply. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, this is G Bear.